Hey, g'day guys, welcome to the Ohazassu podcast. It's John here from Nagoya, Japan, and we're going to be doing episode 85 today. Alright, as a lot of you regulars will know, I also do Word of the Day at the end of the episode, so make sure you hang around till then. It's where I introduce a Japanese word that's connected to something that we spoke about in the episode. Okay, well, we're going to start off today with a mention of the weather, which has been a bit up and down recently, right? It was starting to get warm. I was like, maybe spring's on its way. But today, and actually, when did it start? Yesterday or the day before? It's back to winter. So it's wet and cold and grey and yeah, it looks like crap outside. So it's been a good excuse to stay home and chill out a bit over the weekend. But yeah, it's been a bit more like winter again. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll be seeing spring or signs of spring coming in. Speaking of spring, and one of the things that comes with it in Japan here is Sakura, cherry blossoms. And I just wanted to share the latest update that I caught on one of the weather channels. So we've got, for Tokyo, they expect it to bloom on the 21st of March, in Nagoya, the 24th of March, Osaka, 26th of March, Fukuoka, 22nd of March, Sendai, we're going up north now. As you probably know, the further up north you go, where it's colder, the later it gets. Sendai is at April 5, and Sapporo is April 24. So keep an eye out for your local cherry blossoms. They're always a sight to see, and of course, my favourite part of the cherry blossom season is watching the petals fall down when there's a bit of wind right after the full bloom. It looks absolutely stunning, doesn't it? Okay, well, we're all looking forward to that. Speaking of flowers, there's another type of flower that blooms before the cherry blossoms do, and that's the plum flowers, the plum blossoms, ume. And I was actually fortunate enough to go on a beautiful drive to Kanagawa Prefecture last week, and while there, I went to this beautiful place. I'll put a picture up here over in Odawara. And this place is kind of like on the side of a mountain, so you can see the plum grove below, and it's also got Mount Fuji in the distance, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. If you've got any opportunity to go there and see this for yourself, I highly recommend it. The weather's not so great at the moment, but if you happen to, be in the area when the weather's a bit nicer, I highly recommend it. You will not regret heading over there. While I was there as well, I managed to go to a beautiful onsen, a hot spring. And this hot spring had something really special. I walked upstairs to the second floor where they have their tatami rest area, where you can kind of chill out, lie down, get yourself a drink from the vending machine or a coffee or whatever, and sit down and chill out and relax. And on my way there, I noticed a really old school payphone. And it was actually the same color as this shirt. It was like a pastel pink color. And I went over to it, and I hadn't dialed on one of these in years, in decades. So I couldn't resist. So I put my finger into the rotary dial, and I dialed a couple of numbers, and it just felt so nostalgic, very natsukashi feeling over there. And you can actually see on the top, the coin slot is for a 10 yen coin. I'm guessing that's all it costs to get you a pretty, a long conversation on the phone. But these days, I'm sure it would only take you probably about less than half a minute or something like that if you're lucky. Probably even less than that, maybe 10 seconds or something like that. But that was a really cool thing to see. I highly recommend if you're traveling around Japan, or even if you live here, I highly recommend going to your local onsen. They're just absolutely beautiful, and I think it's worth supporting them as well. And especially when you're driving, there's a couple of things which it helps you out with. One, obviously, it feels amazing, and it's just a great experience overall. But more importantly, it's actually from a safety aspect, it's actually really good, because when you're driving long distance, you get tired, you get fatigued, and fatigue driving, is one of the worst reasons, or one of the biggest reasons for accidents on the roads. So you've really got to be careful with that stuff. So if it's been an hour or two and you feel a bit tired, use that as an excuse to jump into one of the local onsen on the way. And for about, what is it, I think it's 800 yen, 800 yen or something. Take your time. There's no time limits as far as I know. Anyway, no one's ever kicked me out. I usually stay for an hour or two. I'll stay in the onsen for about 30-40 minutes, and then after that I'll take my time in the rest area. I'll get something from the vending machine, enjoy myself and take it easy, and then when I get back in the car I'm 100% recharged, then off I go again and I'm feeling great. But yeah, it's always a good idea to pop into an onsen when you pass one. Okay, next up, let's see. Oh yes, the DJI Action. It's so hard to remember all these names. So the video camera I'm using now to record this video is called a DJI Pocket 3. The new one that I got is called a DJI... Oh, sorry, I forgot something. See, this is how hard they are to remember. So this one here is called a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. The one that I got, the new one, is called the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. I had to really think about that while I was saying it, but I think I got it right. And that's basically like a GoPro, and I made a video about that over here, so I won't go over everything again, but I'll just quickly summarize by saying that it's a fantastic camera and I highly recommend it. You can watch the full video of my first impressions and the unboxing over here somewhere. Yeah, anyway, so while I was walking around actually doing some test shots with this new DJI camera, I was walking around Nagoya Station and I noticed that these shutters, you'll see a photo up here if you're on YouTube, all these shutters were closed in the Nagoya Station Chikagai, which is the underground shopping area. And I mentioned this on X. By the way, speaking of X, I changed my handle name on X. It used to be the Ohazassu podcast. Now it's just Ohazassu. And so that's streamlined now. My YouTube, my Instagram, that's another one. Instagram, I just started that last week. So if you're on Instagram, please give us a follow. If you're not on Instagram, please consider opening an account and giving us a follow over there as well. But anyway, so I put that up on X. And the shutters are all closed and it looks like they're doing a bit of construction. I can see some netting on the top of the ceiling, which usually means they're doing some electrical work, and I'm sure they're going to be renovating the whole area. The whole of that Nagoya Station kind of that whole area, that zone, it's been undergoing renovations for the last like 5 maybe more years, extensively. I'm talking serious rebuilding. It started, I think, with the Dai Nagoya Building, which is one of the oldest large buildings there in the city. They built JR Towers, Gate Towers, I think it's called, and then there's Kitte next to that. And then Sakae, which is downtown Nagoya, they started rebuilding a lot of things over there as well, like the Chunichi building, Hisaya Odori Park, and now they're building this massive skyscraper. I think it's called Landmark something, and it's going to be where the Hilton, Conrad Hilton, I think it's called, is going to be. And this building is actually taller than the Nagoya TV Tower, which is incredible because that's actually quite a large structure in the middle of Nagoya there. It's nowhere near as big as like Tokyo Tower, but it's definitely up there. And so this new landmark building is going to be quite something. It's going to be ready, I think, sometime in 2026, I think it was. So that's going to be really interesting to see. But overall, Nagoya City is really, pumping up the construction, and there's a lot going on. So over the next couple of years, you can expect to see a lot of changes, and there's going to be a lot of new stores and shops and, sort of infrastructure around the place. It's going to be really interesting to see it develop. Okay, guys, it's just a quick episode today. Just one more thing before we get to word of the day, and that's taxes. A lot of you know, people who live here know that it's tax time, and it's time to get all your tax returns into the tax office. And I just wanted to gently remind you all that the deadline for that is March 17. So we don't have much time left, so make sure you get your taxes in on time so you don't end up in trouble, because that can be a real headache if you late for taxes and stuff like that. It can be a lot more difficult than it already is, and so make sure you get that in on time. Okay, we're at word of the day. Today's word of the day is connected to cherry blossoms and Sakura, because that's one of the things we spoke about today, and I've decided on a word which is used quite a bit when you look up the dates for the Sakura blooming, the peak dates and that sort of stuff. And the word is kaika. Kaika, the kanji for this is actually really easy. I'll put it up here. It means open and flower. It's really ultra easy to remember. So kaika. And if you put it together with some other words like yoso, kaika yoso means blooming forecast. Okay, so it's really easy to remember, really easy to use, and keep an eye out for it. It's amazing with language learning. Once you see a word, or once someone tells you a new word, you'll just start seeing it pop out everywhere. So now everywhere you look, you're probably going to see the word keika. And I hope that helps you remember the word so you can use it in your conversation in your daily life. Okay, well, that's all from me for this episode. Thanks for watching. This was episode 85 of the Ohazassu podcast, and I appreciate everyone tuning in, and thanks very much for your support. And again, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Please like the video. That really helps to support the channel, and also please consider following us on X and on Instagram. Thanks very much for tuning in, and bye for now.